Hey everybody, welcome to WCA Extra. This is our live desk streaming show, kicking off every day around 9:15. Today we just want to fill you in on a story that we've been covering pretty extensively over the last week, ending yesterday, as well as earlier in the summer as well. That being the Sheriff John Grismore trial and retrial, both of which now ending with a mistrial there. And no better person to talk about that than the guy in the courtroom. All of last week and yesterday as well, Ike Ben David. So first, Ike, thanks for being here. And Ike, really quick, just as we kind of kick it off here, for people who, may have missed some of this coverage and anything else like that, can you fill us in on exactly what Grismore is being accused of, and kind of the trial and the subsequent trial this time around as well?
Yeah, this all dates back from over 2 years ago, 2022. Yep. John Grismore was off duty, and a lot of details here that this took hours of testimony, of course, in court. But focus around a video that I'm sure a lot of our viewers have seen. This kick while that sheriff, he was then Captain Grismore, did to a detainee, Jeremy Burroughs, in court during his own testimony. Grismore talked about how he was there on his day off to do some office work. That's why he was not in uniform. But as a routine, he had his radio on and heard and knew that this the suspect, this person that was being called for, Burroughs, had past issues with police, and could hear what he called new officers struggling, and they were, according to him, struggling with him while Burroughs was very intoxicated. He was spitting. He was, saying self-harming things to himself about himself, and he kind of was there to kind of guide them a little bit, according to Grismore. But that's where it kind of leads to that video you see where he does kick him, and so the trial was never about did he kick him. It was this assault, and Grismore from the beginning has always denied. He said that he was helping out his officers that were inexperienced, that needed help, and he was stepping in, and he used a police move.
Yeah, and that kind of gives me to my next part. I know you were here for the initial trial back in the summer, and now this time around. What's different? What's changed in this second trial?
Yeah, John, that's a good point, because going off that, the state and really the argument here pointed to that he did not identify himself. He was not a police officer. He could have done other de-escalation tactics. And then again, that goes back to the argument that Grismore was saying, was that there was no time for that. This was a split second. So what was different? This was a little more less political in this trial. That you got to remember, in 2022, at that same time, Grismore was running and then won the election for sheriff, and that is something he still holds that position right now. That was not talked about as much. It was really more the witnesses, the other officers there that were brought in addition to Grismore himself, Burroughs the victim, and then the state and Grismore and his lawyer brought in their own use of force experts, which have varying, explanations of how to handle that.
Yeah, and kind of to my second part here, you've been, this is what, 18 hours, 17 and a half, 18 hours.
It was over that, of deliberations, yeah.
And with that in mind, what was the atmosphere, especially rounding out these last few days, and especially when it was declared a mistrial?
For a misdemeanor assault, and again, the case focused on really, was this an assault from Grismore at the time? It really, I can't remember, and the lawyers were tough to remember, a misdemeanor assault jury trial that took this long for deliberations. And this just shows how divisive this topic can be, especially with use of force, law enforcement. But this wasn't a use of force case. It just was the assault. But this all was a part of the case. So it really, there's a lot of waiting, a lot of, almost restlessness. Every time you see a court officer open the door, you kind of thought there was a verdict. But again, we didn't get the verdict, and kind of pointing to the coverage yesterday. It was just after lunch on Monday yesterday. The jury passed another note to the judge saying 2 want to keep going, 1 just doesn't want to keep going. And then there are about 9 that just says that there's really no hope. And on that note, the judge took that as, this is a mistrial because they were already going for nearly 20 hours at that point.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to one of my final points here. What was that reaction like from Grismore himself and his defense, and now seeing that, hey, we're still not really at a resolution here?
It was interesting. It is rare after, obviously, probably the exception is a mistrial, but both the state's attorney, Doug DeSabato, and Grismore and his lawyer, Mr. Kaplan, they all used the word disappointed after, because there was all this work from both sides, all this work from the jury, which the judge and both lawyers did thank for all their hard work, going over the weekend, but just disappointed. Obviously, for Grismore himself, he talked about how he just wants to get back to work. He had to take the last week off. But he did mention this is still hanging over him. It's not in his control. He talked about how he wants to do what's best for his county and for his people, and talked about his lawyer talked about all the resources this took for a second mistrial, which leads to the next question: is this going to happen for a third time? Exactly, and at this point, that is up to the state's attorney. The judge did schedule a status conference for about 30 days. We don't have an exact date yet, but the judge, when I directly asked State's Attorney Doug DeSabato yesterday, he says he doesn't know yet. So will we have a third time? That is something we have to stay tuned on. Absolutely,
yeah. We look forward to the coverage. And my one last point, and I just want to touch on this as well. No charges, but Grismore didn't come out of this unscathed. There is one key thing that he lost a certification here. So kind of describe to us what that means, because he is still sheriff.
Yes, he's still sheriff, and a lot of that is he talked about when he was on the stand, how there's obviously a business side to the sheriff's office, and what it means by that is the billing. There are things that he can still do, which is vital to the organization running. So he's still in that part, and he still has that leadership. People still ask him questions. He might not be in the field as much as he mentioned. But he's still in the organization. He was voted in, so he's still there, and that was part of his, wanting to get back to work, is what he mentioned, and just kind of, for his point of view, he wants to just get this done. So we'll see what happens from here.
No, absolutely, Ike. We really appreciate the coverage, and again, I just want more clarity for some people who, I think have been confused in the past on that part. But Ike, thanks so much. We'll air that part of your story in just a sec, and we appreciate you coming on this morning.
Of course, John. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. And that was our Ike Ben David there, kind of recapping his time covering the Sheriff John Grismore trial. We'll pull up his latest story, looking at this from yesterday. I'll give you a little more of a clear insight again on now 18 hours of deliberations from the jury. So we'll pull that up in just a sec.
Going to declare a mistrial.
After 4 days of testimony and nearly 18 hours of deliberation, Judge Samuel Hoare declares the second mistrial in the assault case against Franklin County Sheriff John Grismore.
This is obviously not an easy case. You all, I'm sure, are aware of what happened the first time we tried this case. That's why you're here. You have simply affirmed what we knew before.
After hours of work, again, both lawyers had the same answer.
I'm disappointed.
On behalf of Sheriff Grismore, I can say that we're disappointed.
The whole case was focused on this video, then Captain Grismore kicking Jeremy Burrows while he was shackled in 2022. Grismore was charged with simple assault. The state made its case pointing to the fact that Grismore was not in uniform and could have used other means of getting Burrows to comply.
There is a privilege that police officers have when they're engaged in their job and taking actions using force towards what we call a lawful purpose.
Grismore has always maintained that he did nothing wrong and that he was helping less experienced officers get a situation under control.
I operated on the information I had in a split second, and I still stand behind that. I was trying to protect my two young deputies and myself. That's the bottom line.
And his lawyer pushing back after another mistrial.
I was surprised they wanted to try it a second time, considering how much effort went into the first trial and all of the resources that were invested in that, to try it again when we got a hung jury the first time. It was a decision that I didn't agree with, but it's the state's decision.
Grand Isle State's Attorney Doug DeSabato still unsure if he'll refile the case.
What's your decision?
I don't have a decision yet.
Again, that was our Eichmann David talking about the now the second mistrial for Sheriff John Grismore out of Franklin County. Of course, we've covered this extensively over the last week and also from the previous trial over the summer. So, of course, you can read all of that on WCAX.com. Now, moving on here, Peter, we have kind of shifted into some fall weather here that that's like, seasonable.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, we said it last week. We said, hey, you know what? We're finally here.
Yeah.
And I said something today where I was like, even the end of the week, it might be nice to get out, but a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
They did amount of rain this week.
We're going into a cooler, more unsettled pattern, if you will.
Yeah.
But, the calendar's red fall here for a little bit. At least we're actually starting to, I guess,
Yeah.
feel like it now. We'll show you satellite and radar right now. We start off today with pretty clear skies overhead. Now a few clouds starting to build in. I think generally as we head through the course of the day today, a bit more cloud cover. The better chance at a few rain showers here also as we head through the course of your day on this Tuesday. Temperatures starting to rebound just a bit from where we were this morning, but still hanging on to a few upper 30s. You can see Saranac Lake, Morrisville, all coming in at 39 degrees. These temperatures going to climb back into the 50s and maybe a few lower 60s here as we head towards this afternoon. Still, though, most of us a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler than where we were at this time yesterday. So you're definitely going to notice that cooler kind of fall-like chill in the air as you get ready to step out the door for any Tuesday morning plans. Here's how the day shapes up on Futurecast. Again, probably a bit more cloud cover, a better chance at a few rain showers here as we head through the course of the afternoon and evening hours today. We'll hang on to the chance at a few spotty rain showers tonight into your day tomorrow. I think it's a pretty clear, quiet start to your Wednesday morning once again. Through the rest of your day on Wednesday, we'll hang on to the chance of a few spotty rain showers. But it's that Wednesday night into early Thursday morning time frame that we've been talking about for a little bit here. Notice how we start to see some of those blues show up on Futurecast. So, yeah, that's indicating to us probably some snowflakes mixing in the upper elevations of both the Adirondacks and Green Mountains here as we head towards early Thursday morning. Through the rest of your day on Thursday, going to hang on to a good amount of cloud cover, probably a few rain showers mixing in here and there as well. Temperatures here for today, climbing back into the 50s and lower 60s here as we head towards this afternoon. Again, probably a bit more cloud cover and the better chance at a few rain showers here this afternoon. Tonight, overnight lows, they'll fall back into the 30s and lower 40s once again. We actually do have a frost advisory in place here through the course of the night tonight, in place for Lamoille, Washington, and Orange counties on the Vermont side of things, Grafton, as well as Carroll counties across the New Hampshire border. So again, protect any frost-sensitive plants here as we could be talking about some of us falling back into the 30s here as we head towards daybreak tomorrow morning. For the rest of your day on Wednesday, temperatures they're going to climb back into the 50s here for daytime highs. Valley rain showers, but then take a look at that second line. Yep, some summit snow showers here, especially as we head towards later tomorrow evening and into the overnight hours Wednesday into Thursday. So now look at that 7-day forecast. We're cooler and unsettled here as we head through the vast majority of this week. Few leftover rain showers Thursday. Thursday still cooler, temperatures in the upper 40s and low to mid 50s. Friday, I think we can get a bit of sunshine going. Temperatures, they'll climb back into the upper 50s and lower 60s. We'll keep that going into the first part of the weekend. Probably a better chance at a few rain showers Sunday and into the new week for next week on Monday. And temperatures, they'll start to fall back into the low and mid 50s once again as well.
Yeah, Peter, it's definitely fall.
Definitely
We'll
fall-like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that last week we were in the 70s, and now we're talking frost and some mountain snowflakes.
Yeah, mountain snowflakes especially is the almost not. I guess it's not surprising. In
it's
way,
not surprising, but it's
yeah.
kind of a little jarring. That,
right, that's a better word.
Last week it was like shorts weather. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely time to start doing those fall activities. Get outside. I mean, maybe not in this few showers or mountain snow flurries, but hopefully you can have some good weather for that. But that in mind, I think we're all done.
All done.
Yeah. Of course, you can see Peter and I on WCAX at noon, all of our evening shows as well, and all of our content on WCAX.com. That in mind, let you guys go, get on with your day, and yeah, enjoy the, well, few showers.